Hey guys, it's me. I'm just here speaking for the It Gets Better project, and I'm here to tell you my story about how it got better for me. Um, when I was 9 years old, I was in the middle of transferring schools. So I was at this awkward stage where I wasn't having friends. I left all the friends that I had known for 9 years, and I was about to make new ones. Um, I got to school, and I was the only one who didn't go out and play games. I didn't play soccer or foursquare or tetherball or basketball like the rest of the kids. And I just sat there by myself and I um, I just watched everyone. I mean, I read books. I kept to myself and I I was too nervous to go out and make friends. I was too nervous to put myself into a situation because I wasn't like that. I didn't know how they were going to react and just I don't know. One day, my mom dressed me like always, and I was wearing a blue polo shirt. I was wearing white, khaki shorts or whatever, and I had my belt and my glasses. My shirt was tucked in like every other day, um, and these three kids came up to me after school, and they jumped me. And the whole time they kept yelling that I was a faggot, that I was gay, that I was a nerd, that I was filthy, and they were just throwing words out that 10-year-old boys shouldn't be knowing how to say. um, I went to school, acted like nothing happened, and the bullying continued. I was kicked, in PE while we were playing soccer. I was tackled while playing flag football in PE. I was, paper balls were being thrown at me, and things were just being said behind my back that really upset me. Um, every day after that, it was, "Hey faggot," "Hey gay wad," "Hey loser," just things that really cut me down every time I heard it. Every time I heard it, I'd go home and cry. I would go home and sit by myself in my room. I would sit behind a computer screen and just stick to myself. I went to middle school and it was the same way. I was still with the same kids that I had been seeing, all the year before. And I was sitting by myself at lunch. I was sitting alone and, kids were throwing food at me. I was going to PE and, kids weren't wanting to change in the locker room with me because I was gay. And I was 11 years old. I had never even done anything with anyone. I hadn't had my first kiss. I was just some kid, some kid trying to make friends. Um, One day after school, I got jumped again by three other boys, and they kept telling me that I was gay, that I was a faggot. So I went home and I, told my mom that I wanted to change how I dressed. I wanted to look different. I wanted to stop being made fun of. So I completely changed how I looked, and the bullying still continued. This time I was bullied because I was trying to be something I wasn't, and finally, between my sixth and seventh grade year of middle school, I changed middle schools and I made a different person out of myself. I mean, I had more friends and everything was fine. And then one day it started happening again. I was being called gay, and the reason was because I had more girlfriends than I had guy friends, and I was being picked on. And I went to join the basketball team, and they didn't want to shower with me because I was gay. I was the only kid who didn't shower because I was gay. Um, I was mocked when I played football. I was mocked when I ran track. I was mocked every sport I played in high school, or in middle school. I went to high school and I kind of stayed to myself. I didn't talk to anyone. I'd sit at lunch tables by myself, away from everyone, and there'd be days when I didn't go to lunch because I didn't want to sit there and feel like everyone was making fun of me and feel like everyone was looking at me and saying stuff behind my back. I didn't want to sit there and see people laughing and joking around because I thought they were talking about me. And finally, the summer between my freshman and sophomore year, I finally made out with a girl. I finally had my first kiss, and it just wasn't anything. People didn't know about it. I didn't make a big deal out of it, and I was still continued to be called gay. I was still bullied and mocked and made fun of because I had more girlfriends than I had guy friends. And at that time, it was a comfort level. I had low self esteem, and girls may be catty and they may act the way they do, but it just they were the ones who would hang out with me, and they were the ones who um, just gave me the time of day. And people thought it was weird because I was never dating any of these girls, but I was hanging out with all of them, and so I was made fun of. And so finally, my junior year, that's when I decided that I was going to be different. I was going to change things. It was my junior year of high school. I was getting ready for college, and I didn't want to go off to college with no friends. I didn't want to be remembered as the kid who had no friends when I left for college. And I mean, I dated a girl for about 6 months, and I mean, people still were calling me gay. That she was my cover up. She was she was just something that I was doing to pass my time. We broke up, and that's when I realized I did like guys, and I was sure that I liked guys. I never even experimented with a guy before I told my parents I was gay. One day I just came out to my parents and told them I was gay, but I had never even been with a guy. I labeled myself as something that I shouldn't have. I dated a guy, and I didn't have a life after that. I didn't have friends because I devoted my life to him. I gave him everything. He he cheated on me. He messed my life up, and I went through this depression, and I was alone. I didn't have friends because everyone thought, all these things about me, and people still made fun of me, but nobody knew that I was openly gay. They just had their suspicions, and I was still being called names, and it just hurt because nobody really knew me, and no one ever took the time to really get to know me. And so finally, my senior year of high school, I did come out, and I told people that I wasn't going to put up with their crap, that I am who I am, and if they didn't like it, that's their problem. And if they have something to say, they need to say it to my face and not behind my back. And that's when things changed completely. I made more friends than I ever had. I had people that I didn't even know, adding me on Facebook and saying they heard about me, and, just people were coming up to me and being so friendly, and I made so many friends that I didn't know what to do. I was being invited out to parties, and I was invited out to the movies, and people were asking me to sit with them at lunch. And one night I went to this party with, a bunch of kids from school, and everybody was drunk except for me and the guy who was hosting the party. And he sat down, and he was the quarterback of our football team, and he told me straight up that he respected me, that I was one of the few people he actually respected because I was who I was. I didn't let anyone tell me otherwise, and I was honest with myself as well as everyone else, that I didn't put up a front, and that I was different, that I was unique. And that day I made one of my best friends in the world. And I'm not ever going to go back. I'm not ever turning back, and I'm not looking back. To this day, I don't like to label myself, and I don't like to label anyone else. I don't like labels. I think they're just ways for people to be discriminative and to be derogatory, and it's ridiculous that we have to label someone or something just to make ourselves happy. Yes, I like guys, but I also do have an attraction towards girls, and people don't like that. People have said straight up that they don't like it, and you know what? I don't care. I really don't care, because at this point in my life, I'm happy. I'm single, but I have all the friends that I need. I may not have thousands and thousands of friends, but I have the three best friends in the world that anyone can ask for. I'm a sophomore in college, and I have people that I need right here. The three people that I need are here. When I go home, I have my family who all support me in everything that I do, and I have my friends that support me in everything that I do. I have people that if I'm hurt, I can call them at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they'll listen to me. And, if you'd have seen me 9 years ago, you wouldn't have been, you'd never guess it. I was alone. I was by myself. I didn't have anyone. And now I don't. Now I know that I don't need to have thousands of friends to be happy. I just need the people who love me. And so for all of you out there who are going through hard times, who, feel like there's nothing that you can do to make your life better, don't feel that way. Don't feel that way, because I was bullied for 8-9 years straight. And now look at me. I was bullied because of how I looked. I was bullied because I wore glasses and I looked like a nerd. I was bullied because my shorts were too high. I was bullied because I was gay, because I didn't have a girlfriend, when I was 11 and 12. Don't put up with it, and don't let anyone tell you who you should be. Don't let them tell you who you're not, and don't let them tell you who you can't be. Because the only person who can deal with that is you. The only person who can make you better is yourself. And the one thing I've learned over the last couple of years is that I'm not going to impress anyone but myself. I'm not going to try to change for anyone, because no one's going to love me as much as I do. And no one's going to respect me as much as I do. And you can't love someone until you love yourself. So just know that no matter what you're going through, no matter what hardships you have going on, that it does get better. It may take some time, and it may take a lot of strength and courage, but definitely it does get better.